Hello, thank you for watching. It's Lizzie here with a second trimester pregnancy update. Thank you so much to everybody who watched the first trimester update and sent me lovely comments. It's really nice that there's like a little community of people going through similar things or interested in similar things, so thank you so much, and I hope you find this video interesting or useful. So basically, if you haven't seen the first trimester video, I'll link that below as well. But I had a very easy first trimester, but still it was good to kind of go through things that I found helpful and how it all worked with you. Second trimester generally is when people say it's supposed to be lots easier. Quite a lot of people have morning sickness in the first trimester, and the second one tends to be when people start feeling a bit better and more themselves. Unfortunately, I, in the second trimester, got pregnancy rhinitis, which is basically just having like a blocked nose and cough the entire time. Well, not the entire time, the entire time for a period of time. So I didn't have it through the whole of the second trimester, but I did have it for quite a while, and it's still a bit of a problem now in the third trimester. So that took a little bit of getting used to. There are a few things that I've done to help with it. Part of it is just coughing constantly in the night, so it was quite difficult to get to sleep, and I would wake up with a very, very, very dry throat, and I kind of had a blocked nose, so I was finding it difficult to breathe. So let me take you through, just in case that happens to you, some of the things that made a really big difference. So one of them was this maternity pillow from Mamas and Papas. So this was really great for actually having behind me and propping my pillows up against it to help me sit up. So I was in a bit of an incline. That worked really well with kind of the sort of, I don't know, all of the nasal nastiness. So I've sort of learnt to sleep slightly sitting up, which I hear is quite a good thing anyway to learn to do, because breastfeeding in the middle of the night you sort of are half asleep. But anyway, speaking of breastfeeding, the part of the reason why I decided to get this, it was really reasonably priced, I'll link it up below, but it's also quite versatile. So if you want to sleep on your side, you can put it between your legs and under your head like this, and then also once it does get to breastfeeding, you can use it as a nursing pillow and have it on your lap and have the baby here to sort of prop it up. So that is a winner. It comes in just a grey as well, but I thought the white polka dot was kind of cute, so I will link that below. That's been really good, and actually as I've kind of got more uncomfortable going into the third trimester, it's quite nice to have around you on the sofa or sit on to kind of meditate or do yoga or something. So that has been probably the most versatile thing I've bought through the whole pregnancy, so I definitely recommend one of those. The other big thing that made a difference, having done a bit of research, is a humidifier. So as I mentioned, I was finding that my throat was getting really, really dry in the night. So I got from Argos this humidifier, which you just fill with water and switch on before you go to bed. And it just sort of makes cold steam come out and basically fills your kind of vicinity with more kind of wet air. It doesn't kind of get anything wet, but it does kind of make it easier to breathe and reduces the kind of dryness in your throat. So I found that really helpful. I have it sitting on a little tray just in case it leaks, because I read the reviews of this one. Again, I'll link this one from Argos up for you, because I did a bit of research to find what one I thought would be the best and kind of reasonably priced, so they can get quite expensive. So I have this sitting on a little tray because some people complained that it leaked, but to be honest, I think it only leaks if you just don't fill it properly. But the one thing that is a bit weird about it is when it's on, it glows blue, so there's a light inside of it, which you don't necessarily want in the night. So I actually cover it with a snood. So I've just got this, it's all a bit covered in Mabel's hair as well, but I've got this black snood that I literally just put over the top of it so it doesn't glow. So that's something just to be aware of. You might want to cover it with a blanket or something, but you need the nozzle at the top to be not covered. But that made a really big difference to my breathing and being able to sleep. Another thing, because probably the most annoying thing was the constant coughing, and that was getting quite annoying for Dan as well. I didn't know this was a thing, and Don't ask me how it works, but again, I did a bit of research, and a lot of Spanish people actually were saying this, that you should put Vicks Vapor Rub on the soles of your feet and then put some socks on, and that massively made a difference, like massively. I only had to do it for maybe 4 weeks or something, and then it was fine. It went away and I just stopped doing it, but it really did make a difference to coughing. I just wasn't coughing as much. It really opened up my throat, because I found putting Vicks on my chest, the combination of Vicks on my chest and this pumping out the sort of cold wet air wasn't a very nice combination. It made me feel a bit sort of chilly. So on the feet with socks, I had like little running socks so that they didn't come up to my ankles. I've got a bit of a thing about not liking tight things around my ankles, but I just have little running socks on that I wouldn't mind if they got Vicks Vapor Rub on. I've got lovely cashmere bed socks for feeling like all cozy and nice while pregnant in bed, but I didn't want to use those ones obviously, so that's what I did with the Vicks Vapor Rub. And then another similar thing is Hall Soothers. I in the past have not liked Hall Soothers. However, in needing to find a remedy, I have found that there are strawberry Hall Soothers, which I did not know, and there are peach and raspberry soothers, which are so much nicer and sweeter and don't have that kind of, oh, this is a Hall Soother lozenge flavour. They just taste like nice sweets. So I've got through quite a lot of those, and that's made a big difference too. Let me just check my notes and see if there's anything I've missed. So this kind of overlaps a bit, but so the other problem, the other symptom I suppose that I had, which is probably connected but was a bit unfortunate, is insomnia. So I actually had 2 weeks of not really sleeping, maybe getting about half an hour's sleep, maybe an hour, but broken up like 3 sets of 20 minutes in the second trimester. That was really hard. And I think when you're pregnant for the first time and you're told that sleep's going to get more difficult as you go on, if at week sort of 14, 15, you get 2 weeks of not sleeping, you're just like, oh my goodness, is this it for the end, till the end of my pregnancy? So that kind of stressed me out. And luckily, about halfway through it, my friend Kaz popped into Smug because she was passing to say hi, and I told her about it, and she has a little girl called Lila, and she was just like, look, everything in pregnancy is a phase. None of it lasts the whole time. There'll be a different symptom, there'll be a new thing. This isn't going to last forever. You just have to treat it like a phase. And that was such good advice, because what was stressing me out more was sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, I've got like 4 months, 5 months of this. I can't hack that. But actually it was 2 weeks and it wasn't much fun. But after that, it's gone much more back to normal. And I just wake up in the night a couple of times to go to the loo. So knowing that it comes to an end, if something like that happens, is really important and encouraging. So I would say to you, hopefully you won't get a couple of weeks of insomnia, but if you do, it doesn't mean that's you done. So that was really important. But there were some things that I did during that time when I couldn't sleep that stopped me getting like worked up and stressed about the fact that I couldn't sleep. One of them was chamomile tea with honey and lemon, and that actually overlaps with the rhinitis and finding it difficult to breathe, because that was quite soothing to my throat, and inhaling the chamomile tea would help with opening up my nose as well, and that was just a nice relaxing thing to do. So I would try and start getting ready for bed by like 10 o'clock and have a nice warm shower, and let the steam of that help me as well relax, and have a really nice skincare routine, take good care of myself to get ready for bed. And I would actually sit down with a favourite notebook and write down the day's small wins, which I found really kind of therapeutic. So I'd sit down and write all of the things down that had gone really well. And I found the combination of taking care of myself with tea and skincare and having a lovely shower, reading rather than being tempted to be on my phone with the glowing blue light. I find that quite difficult, because the rest of the time I like to know what time it is when I wake up in the night, but I did try that out for a bit just because I couldn't really cope with not sleeping, and that seemed to help. The other thing was I found on YouTube some playlists of just really nice music to listen to quite quietly to sleep to, that were kind of like spa-y type music. That really helped. But if I did wake up in the night, well, I was awake in the night. If I was awake for a long period of time and I didn't feel like I could get back to sleep at all, I would eventually come and sit in here and sit in the corner just with a dim light on. We've got a little kind of orb light, I think it's from IKEA or maybe it's Habitat, but if I can find it I'll link that below as well, because that was just the right amount of light to be able to read to but not to wake yourself up too much. So I'd sit in my armchair over there, read about hypnobirthing or some sort of pregnancy book, because I found if I'd read like a fiction story I'd get a bit carried away and want to read for too long. If I read something kind of about pregnancy I felt like I was preparing myself and focusing on my baby, and that was quite relaxing as well. And eventually I'd find myself falling asleep in my chair, so then I'd go and get into bed and try and go back to sleep. There was also an app that I've talked about before, not relating to pregnancy, but that I love using, which is the Rituals app. So Rituals is actually a skincare brand, but they do an app which has meditation in it, and you can do 5, 10, 15 or 20 minutes, and they're basically breathing meditations. That was so helpful. So I'd sit propped up in bed with my pregnancy pillow, I'd have had my chamomile tea, maybe I'll have a soother, and I will sit there and I will breathe and I will be talked through this guided meditation, and often I would be managing to fall asleep by the end of it if I did the 20-minute one. So that was really helpful. I'm going to link that for you as well. Other things I'd do is, if I just when it was really bad and I just couldn't sleep, I'd come in here and just get in the beanbag with a pillow and try to go to sleep, because I just needed a change of scene. And eventually, actually, we've ended up buying a king-size bed, which may sound slightly ridiculous solution, but having more space has made a really big difference. And I think we decided that we wanted that anyway, with the baby coming in case we wanted to do co-sleeping, and Mabel, our cat, loves sleeping in between us. So we were running out of room, and my husband's sort of 6'2" and quite broad, so in a way we've gone quite a long time in a normal double bed. So we got a gorgeous king-size bed from John Lewis, the new mattress and the new bed sheets and things that obviously we had to get because it was bigger, felt really luxurious and opulent and nice. So that's really helped me. Bed's like my favourite place, so I found it quite hard the times that I haven't been sleeping as well. So it's been really important to keep bed as like a really lovely, luxurious, relaxing, pampering place. Another thing that I've been doing is trying to walk 5k every day. When I was at my most tired, in a way it was quite counterintuitive because it's hard to exercise, but actually going for long walks really helped. Again, it's so about breathing, but really helps with getting in lots of fresh air, and it really then helped with me sleeping. Another thing is pregnancy yoga I started doing. I've been a member of the Life Centre, which is a yoga place in Islington, for ages. And unfortunately when you're pregnant you can't do yoga for 12 weeks, so through my first trimester I couldn't do any yoga, but in my second trimester I've been able to get back into yoga, and the teachers there are brilliant because the vast majority of them are trained in pregnancy, so that you can still do their class and they'll adapt it for you if there's anything they feel you shouldn't be doing because you're pregnant. But also they offer really good pregnancy classes too, specifically for pregnant people. So I've been doing that as well, and those things have really helped. I used to enjoy running and swimming, but that hasn't really been something that I wanted to do while I've been pregnant, but I found walking and yoga really has helped with everything, but particularly sleeping. What other things did I want to tell you about? Yes, so this is where it gets a little bit more expensive, but if you are able, or you have some financial backing from somebody else, reflexology and pregnancy massage and acupuncture I've found amazing. So if at any stage you can find a way of treating yourself to a treatment once a month, or finding a way of finding a friend who's really good at kind of massage, or getting your partner to give you a foot rub or something, having a treat like that really helps. So I've got a lady I go to for reflexology just in Stoke Newington Green, and she is amazing. Unfortunately she's now having a baby, so she's on maternity leave, so I can't go and see her anymore, but she was a brilliant reflexologist, and she will be back, so I'm going to leave her details below, because I've seen different people for reflexology on sort of little spa trip holidays and things, and she is just the best. She's amazing. And it isn't specific to being pregnant, you can go and see her for anything, but she is very experienced in reflexology for pregnant people. and actually I'd feel really guilty because I'd be lying there at sort of 4, 5, 6 months pregnant, and she's a month and a half, maybe 2 months ahead of me, so she'd give me this gorgeous treatment, but she'd be sitting there at the end of the day enormous and pregnant, so I felt like I should do it back. But anyway, I digress. That was amazing. Acupuncture I found really helpful. Actually, in the past, before being pregnant, I've had problems with my spine and kind of mild scoliosis, so it was always said to me that if I do decide to have a baby, I should go back to an acupuncturist and just check everything is aligned, because at one stage my pelvis was kind of out of whack and that would be problematic for giving birth. So it's quite important to be aware of that. If you've had any kind of alignment issues, it's important to make sure you're well aligned before giving birth, because that will affect how the baby can come down the birth canal and everything working properly. So lots of yoga has been good for me for that as well. I actually went to my acupuncturist and he was like, you're perfectly aligned, it's not a problem at all, and I think that's a lot to do with the yoga. So that's been great. Other things that kind of happened in the second trimester, so in terms of appointments, you've had your 12-week scan in the first trimester. Your next appointment, you actually go through all of the results of the scan and they sit you down and talk you through everything, which is great, and that went well. And then actually your next appointment after that is the 20-week scan, which is when you can find out if it's a girl or a boy. And we did, and it's a boy, so that's really exciting. Funny one actually, because so many people told us that from the way I was carrying it looked like a girl. We kind of got used to the idea of it being a girl and started wanting a girl, and we had far more girls' names than boys' names, so in a certain respect I was a bit disappointed when they said it was a boy. I was a bit like, oh I've got a willy in my belly, which is obviously deeply immature. But yeah, after about 15 minutes of it sinking in, it was fine, but it was weird to have that initial response of, oh, I don't know if that's what I wanted. But then on the same day in the evening, Dan was like, oh, so it's a boy, and I was very quickly like, oh, don't criticise my little boy. So I would not worry if you feel strongly one way or the other. Obviously some people choose not to know to the end. I loved knowing because it made it feel more real, but it also made me feel more connected to the baby. So knowing he's my little boy and talking to him knowing he's a little boy just makes it feel more real and like I know him even better. So that's been really nice too. In terms of what I've been wearing, that got more complicated in the second trimester obviously, because first trimester you're not showing, so you can just wear your normal clothes and nothing's really going on. Some people, if it's their second baby, start expanding a little bit quicker. So in the first trimester some people put an elastic hairband looped around their jeans to just give a little bit of extra give. So they kind of loop it through the hole and then use it to go over the button, so that it can be a bit open. I didn't used to do that because it's the first baby, but what I have purchased, I didn't want to spend loads of money on getting lots of maternity wear because it's not really my cup of tea, and quite a lot of the clothes I wear are floaty enough that I've been able to keep wearing them. But there are a couple of things that I bought for the second trimester which made a really big difference, both from ASOS, both ASOS own brand, and I would highly recommend. I got these maternity dungarees. Again, I'll link everything below. It's quite hard to show you these properly just sitting here. I'm not going to put them on. But they're really great, and they've taken me all the way through. They've got buttons on the side that you kind of open further and further open, so you get more and more girth. They're really, really nice, really soft, really comfy, go with everything. So I've been living in those. And then I also got these ASOS jeans. So these are just skinny jeans. They're both size 12. They were both inexpensive. As I say, I'll link them below. I've preferred the under the bump vibe. I haven't liked the kind of over the bump thing. I don't have any over the bump jeans. Partly because I find it quite restrictive, and then you've got another layer of your top over the top. It feels a bit weird. But also because they do this over the bump thing, and then they add a fake button, which sort of just sticks out and looks awkward. So I find these more flattering and more comfortable, so I've enjoyed wearing those. And in terms of tops in the second trimester and dresses, I've just worn my own things that I already had. Lots and lots of the things that I wear worked. So what I'm going to do actually is do a blog post talking about kind of maternity versus non-maternity and what I bought. Some things, I've had quite a lot of weddings and there was Christmas and lots of special events, so COS is amazing because everything's quite floaty, but as I say, I'm going to do a blog post to show you some of the things that are staples that are worth buying that you'll use loads, and other things that I already had or purchased that I know that I can use after maternity too. I mean, there are basic things like nursing bras that it's really good to get, even though you're not nursing yet. They're wireless, so they're much more comfy. So through my second trimester, I've been wearing bras that don't have an underwire that will be good for nursing. So I'll link those below too. And actually these play tops, my friend Gnomes used to work for Dover Street Market, and I inherited 4 of these from her, I think, and they're amazing because they're really long line. So that's the thing, is that quite a lot of my clothes, actually my tops were wide enough but they weren't long enough. These are absolutely brilliant. So I've got these in sort of oversized sizes, so I think this one's extra large, my other ones are large, and they just kind of feel nice and roomy, and they look cute with the jeans and under the dungarees or with other trousers. I've also got some favourite toast trousers that I wore a lot before I was pregnant, but that are kind of a bit of a slouchy shape with an elasticated waist, so I would just wear those under the bump. Too big for that now in the 3rd trimester, but 2nd that worked really well. So as I say, I will do a blog post more about that. Baby clothes in the 2nd trimester, obviously we've done a little bit more shopping and got overexcited, and I just wanted to draw your attention to a few. I'm gonna get the hiccups again, I do this every video, sorry. Okay, where are we going? There are three baby clothes brands that I wanted to draw your attention to that I have been loving. In the 2nd trimester, it felt legitimate to buy a few more baby bits, and also we've been trying to stagger it so it's doesn't feel as expensive. So getting a few things every month. So the baby clothes I wanted to show you, things that we've loved in the 2nd trimester, is this little newborn baby grow, which we absolutely love. It's from Jojo Mammal Baby, and it's basically a little farmyard. So I'm going to bring it closer to you. I don't quite know how this will work, but just so you can see the print. So it's got piggies and lots of chicks and lambs and cows and just general cuteness. So Dan picked that out, and that's just completely gorgeous. And it's worth noting, as lots of people do in baby clothes videos, that these are really good, the Jojo Mammal Baby ones, because they've got feet and they have got built-in little mitts, so you can fold that over and the baby won't scratch its face. So that means you don't have to worry about socks or mittens or anything, so it's kind of does everything for you, and this is coming to the hospital with us in our hospital bag. The other 2 brands that we fell in love with are Next Baby, or no, okay, that's true, but they are not represented here because actually we got into Next Baby in the 3rd trimester. So put a pin in that. Zara Mini, sorry, that does really, really gorgeous things. Annoyingly, there's a Zara Mini store in Covent Garden, and if you go there, I think it's called Zara Baby, but most of it is Zara kids clothes, and there's hardly any Mini. Mini is the 0 to 12 month stuff, which we've been buying online mostly because they never have it in there, but the shop's called Zara Baby. But anyway, it's worth looking online. I'll link these below. But these are called the gardening leggings, and they've got little hedgehogs and bunny rabbits and like spades and forks, and they're just completely adorable. So we picked those up. And then the other baby brand that we are loving is Mori. So they just do the most soft organic cotton, little sleep slits and baby grows and all sorts of things. So this is just a little stripy number, and again we've got quite a lot from them. So we do have sleep suits that have the feet, but this is a long sleeve vest, and this again has the little mitt cover over. But so many of them are just these lovely kind of stripy Breton-y type jobbies, and again they're just so soft, and I think these 2 together are just going to make a really, really cute little outfit. But yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to share with you. I hope you found that interesting. The next video, I think, is going to be a kind of bigger baby gear haul to show you the pram and the cot and Moses basket and snooze pod and all of those sorts of bigger purchases, and talk you through those. So hopefully you'll find that interesting. I've currently got stuff happening in the nursery because we're getting new Vitso installed, so we're gradually kind of building that up, and I'm going to be doing a nursery tour soon. My Insta stories is worth checking out on Mondays if you want little updates of what's happening around our flat, because we're having some renovations, and Mondays I'm kind of talking about the nursery a bit, so it's worth checking that out. As usual, I'll link up all of my Instagram and my website and stuff. If you don't know anything about me, I kind of explained that in the first video, but I'm not going to tell you every single time because it's dull. So you can look at that, or you can look at some of the links to see what I actually do. But thank you so much for watching. If you fancy giving it a thumbs up, that would be really lovely, and if you'd like to subscribe, that'll mean you'll keep getting the videos. So yeah, thank you so much. If you have any advice for other people in their second trimester, or any comments about anything I've talked about, it would be lovely if you commented below, and we can all kind of help each other and give each other tips. So yeah, thank you so much. Take care. See you soon.